that you will see now is a little different than our usual program. Only in the beginning. We are using some live footage, and it might not be comfortable to some of you all because, you know, you expect something polished and something that fit into the box that you operate out of, and I can understand that. But this is some of what we do in real life, the Shrine of Ancestral Remembrance, something that Boys and I and Harold Davis did. That's what we do. And we still do that. They just are in the afterlife, and I'm still in this life. So there's a piece, an intervention that took place. And if I could, I would show you how blinding those bully lights, those floodlights that the stupid government allowed to be put on these vehicles, are used as accessory to kidnapping, raping, and a whole lot of other things. And it should be against the law for people to drive around like that. But we got a situation here where a beautiful example, beautiful only in that it reinforces my own fixation on how it should be outlawed. We got a stalker in an area, and he had these lights, and they're so bright that the students after school, they've been after school, and they cross the street, but the lights are so bright that they can't see. And by the time they get across the street, their eyes are just oriented. I want you to imagine for a minute. Somebody walk up to you from behind you, girl or boy, and you disoriented, you can't see. Now, if they want to, they can say something to you, and they can try to slide into you, because I witnessed it. First time I saw this situation, dude standing up, young girl by herself, and I could see that he wasn't catching no bus. So I crossed the street to where she is, so he would be clear. So he moves on. So I come back on the other side of the street, and dude with the bright lights, just gunning the lights. So I asked the girl, because you know they so silly, they keep those earphones in their ear all the time. I said, did this dude in this truck say anything? She said, well, I don't know if he did, but da. I said, well, could you see coming across the street? She said, not really. I said, So the man and I played what looked like we played cat and mouse. Last week, this week, police, first time I went to the school got the police, they came, but he vanished. He come back, went back, school came, then they called the police, and they confronted him. And he was a registered sex offender. But he's been back since then. So we changed our strategy. Part of the problem is, like the police say, and I think it's only partially true, well, he's not committing a crime. Well, okay. But he's a registered sex offender. 27 steps from a bus stop in a safe school zone. See, it depends on how serious it is to society. When you come around as the police and say, and it wasn't the police that came, it was the idea and what other police have said and I've heard, and even about this case. You say, well, he's not committing a crime. So you saying that we know what he's gonna do, but we can't stop him. He got to snatch a girl, sell a girl, kill a kid, rape a kid. So our kids become missing. You knew it was happening, but you don't do nothing. And when he commit the crime, then you can't catch him. But we try to tell you, and this ain't about this particular incident. This is about the fact that this particular incident, the school, the police, safe passage, all of us rode as one. and we made it move for a minute. You know what I'm saying? But then again, yesterday I heard that same dude seemed to be at another school. What you need to do with him when the time comes is lock him up. He's violating something. He's a sex offender at a bus stop at night, blinding kids with car lights. Come on now. In a safe school zone. Play these things, man. We're going to play the first one from last week when we was invoking the spirit of the tree, the spirit of the ancestors. And then you can see the quick turnaround time and when you approach some natural deities. You don't believe in that, and I don't care what you believe in. See how fast this was? This perpetrator probably been sitting there for a while, but somehow it just wasn't revealed. But right after the invocation, we did the invocation on a Friday, that Monday, Tuesday, by Wednesday, it was on. And by Wednesday, yeah, the police had made contact with dude. All right, brother, let's go with this. There's December 10th, 2021. Dr. Kofi Malik, Shrine of Ancestral Remembrance. Just revisiting the tree where Voodoo, the spirit snake, is coming out of this tree, invoking the spirit of this snake to protect those that travel this path, these students, and anyone that would attempt to harm them. Let this snake become the size of this tree, attack, consume, and destroy the enemy of anyone that demon, devil, think she would have. I said that. Too. Now, this was an impromptu. I hadn't intended to deal with that. For some reason or another, the spirit had me to do that. Yeah, I don't have to apologize or be, ashamed of what I do. Yeah, I make an offering every day, damn near, to the spirit of the tree, the spirit of the ancestors, the spirit of the earth. Yeah, I do that. Yeah, I pour libation. Yes, I do. Yes, I invoke them. I invoke Jesus. I invoke Muhammad, Allah. Yes, I do. Yeah. You think I'm going to just be out there because I'm out there? No, I ain't the one. I'm out there on a mission to serve and be sure that the safety of these young people is enhanced. So be clear. Tell me, why would you? Man, I don't care what you believe. I don't care what you think. Show them this piece, Amari. Today is December 17th, 2021. My name is Dr. Kofi Malik, Shrine of Ancestral Remembrance. I'm documenting a registered sex offenders hiding cave, 27 feet from a bus stop where many kids catch the bus every day. I want you to see here where this man be sitting in his truck. Matter of fact, he got 3 vehicles. Truck, vans, in his cave. I guess these alcohol utensils is part of what he used to get prepared to do his damage. Fortunately, the safe passage workers, school security, Chicago police have temporarily disrupted this predator's hunting ground. I want you to see this. We talk about the base of trees all the time. Daily almost. With those floodlights that blind students as they walk across the street to stand at this bus stop here. He sits here boldly until we rolled on him, and he just sit here blinding them so they can't see, so he can walk up on them and snatch them when they get ready. Got to understand this. It's a serious matter out here, y'all. Get out your bubble. Now I have the videos of him, well, not him, of his truck and the lights. But of course, you know that the lights are so bright you cannot get the license number. But like I said, school security, after they was notified, and the police was able to make contact with dude
for everybody out there
and give him the message. But I have the videos of each encounter, but I didn't want to deal with trying to throw all of that at you in the raw. The lights, you know what I'm saying? Kids from the back, so you don't be talking about I'm violating nobody's rights. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody stupid. You understand? But we want you to understand this. This is not nothing that's a joke out here in these hoods. Kids out there catching the bus 6 and 7 o'clock at night, although we get off at 5:30. You understand? You want to know where are these missing girls, missing boys? A lot of them right there, under that tree, right in your face, because you have become accustomed to bright lights. I ain't accustomed to bright lights blinding people, because I know it don't make no sense. So when I saw it, and when I was affected by it, I said, damn, what is this? So I'm old school. I know it's not intelligent for a person to park with lights so bright that nobody coming going in that direction can see. And for you to leave the lights on for a period of time, you know, and that's why we changed strategy. Because I know, you know, because he was, you know, I'm not going to call this so-called race or nationality, it ain't about that. But he was bold. The next day after the first night, before the police made contact, the vehicle drove by and blew at me. I'm saying, damn, dude got a lot of nerve. Same day he came back. Did it a couple times. Then I figured we better change strategy. Then the last time he came, he actually got out of the car, out of the truck. Changed trucks twice that night. And the last time he came in a van. But he said he owned property in that area. You understand me? But he's not a Negro. Had his damn, you know how they do. They put a ladder on their van or in their pickup, and Negroes just automatically figure they the skilled workers. So you see them and you ask them to come do some work. They don't know no more than the Negro know. They don't know no more many times than the so-called brother or sister that's strung out on substance. But you just figure because they got a truck and a damn ladder that they some damn carpenter or some contractor. So that allows them to get into your space. That's what we do. But I'm gonna start bringing these type of experiences to the program, because we have to document and show you how real it is. Because sometimes people want to challenge. Like the other night on the radio show, I tell dude that the average Negro don't want to hear all this stuff that I'm talking here on the radio and on CAN TV. They don't want to hear it. They'll tell you quick. That was then, this is now. All they want to do is smoke dope, play games, and think about themselves. They ain't concerned about the race, whatever that means. They ain't concerned about the spirit or the vibration of the 60s, where you thought you was going to overcome something. And the only thing you did really, the only thing that happened really, is that your fake butt leaders sold you the poison Well, they gave you the poison of integration. And you went for integration and left what you had. They made you think that what you had was segregation, was discrimination, was this and that, separate but not equal. At least you had it. You had stores. You had businesses. You had it. Now you ain't got a damn thing. Running around sniffing white folks in the toilet. And that's what you got? That's progress? You got to be out your damn mind. That ain't progress. And now here we are. Don't nobody want to hear it. You didn't pay the taxes on the properties that your grandparents left you. So now the others, not even the immigrants, done come here and bought up all of that farmland, all of that land down south. It don't belong to Negroes no more who had it before integration. No, it don't. Because you wouldn't pay the taxes. All of that, them abandoned homes in Inglewood and Austin and other places. Your parents had it. Yeah, they was faked out and had to refinance. They didn't have to, but they did. Because the banks and the government allowed the predators to make them think they was getting some help, but in reality, the predators did what? They was using that ploy to take the property they had. And now you got others coming in here after the bank foreclosed on your grandmama's house. You understand? Now the bank come in and take it and give it to somebody that ain't no citizen and give them big money to fix it and give them 10 years to run back and forth to Mexico like they big shots or wherever the hell they from and come back here seasonally. You understand? But those of you who actually had the opportunity to keep grandma and grandpa's house, even here in the city, you're too damn sorry to pay the taxes. So you lost it. They took it. And you blaming everybody else. You did that. But integration is what set it into play. And those Negroes, many of them are still living. You understand? Still living. But they destroyed the so-called basis of the power, the consolidation of resources of the Negro. Because once you integrated, once you wasn't separate any longer, even this thing, so-called vice president and the so-called president and the ex-president, the one before Trump, told you, we ain't doing nothing special for you Negroes. But had you stayed separate, Honorable Elijah Muhammad told you need to be separate. No, they told you separate but equal. Segregation. Well, when you gave up segregation, you still got it. It's worse now than it's ever been. But you have nothing. You have no property, for the most part. But dude called the radio station, he gonna say, well, I don't agree. And I tell people all the time, dude, don't call here telling me what you don't agree with. That ain't what the program is about. It ain't about what you agree with or what I agree with. Say what you got to say, shut the hell up and move on. But don't make a case, don't make an argument, don't make a debate between you and me or you and some other caller. No, don't do that. But he did. It wasn't bad, you know what I mean? It wasn't, I didn't get too salty. But it was the idea. Everybody got an opinion. But now I'm gonna start using some of these real life experiences on the street to show people like him that lives in a bubble to think that what he's saying somebody listening to other than himself. And that's what Speak On It is about, giving you opportunity for somebody else to hear. Give you opportunity to get it out and get it in. But it ain't an opportunity for you to debate. Damn sure don't try to debate with me, because we will cut you off. Period. Move around, man. Let's get started. This is finna be ugly, what we finna deal with now.
I would be doing this, but I gotta make it quick. For everybody out there that supported me and really knows what's going on, thank you all. I've been going through a custody battle. I've been going through having my ex-wife say I molested my children and all kinds of craziness. been fighting for custody for 3 years. So, you know, shit has been real crazy. What's up, Oliver? You know about this. Going through it with my ex-wife, blah, blah, blah. So, me, you know, started dating somebody new, and she got pregnant. And, you know, we got in a fight. First thing she does is threatening that she's going to do the same thing. You're never going to see your kids, blah, blah, blah. It's the holidays, man. I don't have no family, nothing. Anyway, I just did something crazy, man. I just shot my ex-girlfriend in the head, yo. Felt like a dream. Like, I never thought I would be that guy. I can't go to prison, so the person that really started my depression and all of this is my ex-wife. So she next, and then I'm going to do myself too. But I just wanted to say this to people. Don't play with people's emotions, man. Don't lie on these men. Oh, here's my ex-wife right here. Today's the day.
I want you to think about this, man. That's real. And if it's fake, it's put out here by this platform, social media. But I did read something that it really happened. And the truth of the matter is, even if it didn't happen, but it did.
Teach someone to...
It's a sadness, man. This government, this whole system that we're living in now, it truly is like those games they have on TV. It is an altered verse. They say Facebook changing and calling itself something else, metaverse. People are living in another verse, universe, another space. And many times that space create conflict in this universe, in this life. Man talking to you, and then his ex-wife appears, and the last we hear, and the last we see. You know? But it was right there in your face. He's known more. I think 3 people. He killed 2 people and himself. But then these platforms, you know, you see people getting killed. But yet we try to present information and they say, well, no, we can't. You know, you can't pay us to promote that. What? But you can promote. But we saw. And I ain't got a problem with seeing it. But it's a problem. Because sometimes people use those type of situations to do what? Copycat. And that's what's happening with some of these threats lately, with these young people talking about what they're going to do at schools and what that boy did recently at Oxford. Killed those people. But it was sort of similar to this situation here with this man. The boy talked about it, drew about it, and carried it out. This man was kicking it, telling his friends, or those that were like me, that would see it and didn't know him. And now he's not here. But back to what the caller, talking all that yang about how, you know, how people be in this false reality on that side, thinking that, you know, no, it ain't no us, y'all. Talking about the Negro this, the Negro. Man, these people have become individuals, man. They ain't trying to hear that. They dealing with their own situation. And the government done made it possible for them to smoke dope legally, mushroom legally, take opioids legally. So people are doped out, stretched out, and killing up and killing off. All right, brother, let's go on, because we'll run out of time in a minute. This is a piece. Okay.
Law enforcement from coast to coast can't seem to find any credible threats, but all the discussion has parents and students worried tonight.
Nate Rogers has the latest.
Right now, law enforcement is working to try to figure out who's responsible for initiating the now viral threats. Some schools have even canceled class across the country just as a precaution. Many parents also very concerned.
I think every school in the country that's aware of this is going to be on heightened alert tomorrow.
Parents should definitely expect increased security at schools nationwide Friday. This after TikTok messages went viral insinuating bomb threats and random school shootings would occur.
Most of these kids will say when they're arrested for it, they will say, "I was just kidding around, it was a joke." This is no joke.
The posts, which are no longer on TikTok, reportedly encourage students to bring guns to school as well. Although no specific school was mentioned, cybercrime expert Rich Wostocki says law enforcement agencies had to act fast.
75% of the school shooters have posted what they wanted to do before they did it.
At least 30 school shootings resulting in injuries or death have taken place around the country this year. The Illinois State Board of Education says every school district has an emergency evacuation plan. Wostocki says schools and parents should invest in monitoring and filtering software to ensure student safety.
That's terrorism, quite frankly. You can't make a bomb threat. You can't call up an airline and say there's a bomb on your plane. It's the same thing.
In a letter to parents late Thursday, CPS said in part, quote, "There is no known threat to any CPS facility, but we are taking this threat extremely serious." Now, Baltimore County Public Schools sent a tweet early Thursday saying that threats originated in Arizona, but police told them that those threats were not credible. We, of course, reached out to TikTok. TikTok sent us a statement in part saying they are indeed cooperating with police, and they found no evidence of threats originating or spreading on their platform. From downtown Chicago, I'm Nate Rogers, Fox 32 Chicago.
Now think about it. A program, TikTok. Now you remember a few months back, not really a few months, a few weeks, really. Kids was hidden, attacking teachers. TikTok, they say, a challenge to hit a teacher, attack a teacher. See how many teachers and school staff lost their jobs because kids was engaging in behavior as a challenge, and then idiots like one text on my device want to talk about the development of a kid's brain. You idiot. You should be talking about the development of these damn platforms that give kids the opportunity to send it out to other kids, and they think it's a joke, and they go do it. Don't tell me about the development of a kid's brain when he's 11 years old and he done killed the 5-year-old kid. See, that's part of the issue. The issue is too many of you all live in a bubble. And particularly you white folks who want to talk about black folks' business. Shut the hell up and deal with your own. Oh, I'm sorry. Your own is TikTok. You are the ones that come up with these devices. You and them Asians and others. And these devices do what? They give people ideas, give them a way to do it. But don't let no Negro come out here and start trying to talk about how Negroes should avoid downfalls and killing each other and try to inspire Negroes to do different and to not go back into segregation legally, but to act like in your mind that you should be developing and owning things like your granddaddy and them did. And now you become so sophisticated and so spoiled, you calling yourself something that your granddaddy and your grandmama and their daddy and mama was glad to see gone. Colored. Because that's all they heard. Colored. Colored this, colored that. Colored fountain, colored toilet. You look for a job, colored only. That's what we heard. But now you new generations have let somebody else tell you that the way to be. And this thing about people of color, that ain't new. That's old as hell. But it was used against us. And now you out here trying to sell us that it's good. You can't tell me it's good because I grew through that. I was a colored boy. Still in many places in America, at my age, I'm still a colored boy. And you idiots talking about black and brown, people of color. See? And that's why you ain't got nothing. But when you were just a Negro, boy, you had a lot of stuff. Yes, sometimes some of y'all got hung, but sometimes, most of the time, in recent times, you was able to vote. But now you ain't even allowed to do that. You got to fight in 2021 for voters' rights. But other folks can be here for 30 days, and they can vote from another country. 30 days and you're a damn illegal immigrant, and you can vote. And we're going to get some footage on that. Well, you're going to get some audio on that. So when you see or hear me being intense, that's because when I look at so many of us that want to challenge the reality, I have no tolerance for that. I don't. I have no tolerance, and I not care how you feel or what you do. I don't. I'm speaking to the tree. I'm speaking to the rock. I'm speaking to the ground. I'm speaking to the wind. I'm speaking to the dead, living and in the afterlife. So for you and what you believe, I not even care. But if you do by chance believe that we need to do something different, that's what Speak On It is about. Let's do something different. You know what I'm saying? Let's stop talking about what they got. Because so much of what they got, we forfeited, and they taking it. So let's go on, man, to the next piece. Man, while you're getting ready for that one, this is a little off, but it's coming back.
Christmas at Benjamin Mays Elementary School in Inglewood. The Chicago Public Schools CEO Pedro Martinez was on hand to pass out a gift to every student at this toy giveaway. Martinez says he's very concerned about COVID cases when students return from winter break.
We're seeing cases rise now. I'm already seeing a few schools where we're having several classrooms going remote. And by the way, it tends to be in the neighborhoods, where we have the lowest vaccination rates. It's in the neighborhoods where we're sending these home tests.
CPS is sending home 150,000 home COVID test kits to students in schools located in neighborhoods with high COVID cases and low vaccination rates. Students must take the COVID test on December 28th, and then families are responsible for dropping them off at a FedEx box, which CEO Martinez admits is not that convenient. Martinez says next week CPS plans to announce more convenient drop-off locations.
Okay.
But the goal is to get those tests in by Friday so that we will know then of any positive cases, and that will allow us that we come back on the 3rd that we can be as safe as possible.
CPS hopes testing and encouraging more parents to get their kids vaccinated will keep schools safe. But some community activists and Alderman Byron Sitcho Lopez are calling on CPS to do more to get vaccines into the schools directly.
We're demanding that CPS takes this seriously. We still have 3/4 of kids that are not being vaccinated yet. And when a variant that is so aggressive.
While the new Omicron variant is expected to result in a January surge and may force some classes into quarantine, CEO Martinez does not expect the district to return to all remote. Sarah Schulte, ABC 7 Eyewitness.
No commentary, just keep going, Amari. I'm watching the clock so we can get to part 2. But while he getting that arranged, this is something you need to pay attention to right here. This particular school got some students.
Denied an attempt.
Yeah, good on.
By some students to start a conservative group with troubling past, according to some. Block Club Chicago says Taft High School will not let students form a Turning Point USA chapter. This group has been accused of spreading COVID and election misinformation and is linked to white nationalism. That's according to the Anti-Defamation League. Some local GOP members have criticized the move, calling it censorship.
That was 1930 for 20 to 20.
There's a piece there, Amari, that talks about 6 to 8% of the students that at one school that's under quarantine. I was looking to find that if you didn't have it to send it back, but it's not absolutely something that have to be seen, but it's something I think that we wanted to at least demonstrate awareness of because some people might not know, but it might have been the one that you just with that school that was there, where you got one of the schools that, you know, but, you know, it is what it is. I mean, the government cannot just close down stuff, you know, forever. You just can't do it. So people have to deal with the fact that they're going to work through this as we go through this. And with this other virus, the other strand of this virus, people are just, you know, almost confused. But it appears that this new one, it might not be as deadly as the other one. So people might not be so endangered. But a lot of these schools, from what I understand, got a lot of kids in quarantine. All right, brother, let's go on with this, and if I find it, I'll send it to you.
Dealership downtown. On Saturday, 2 people walked into the Gold Coast exotic motor cars just off the Mag Mile. One stayed by the door with a gun, while the other used a hammer to smash a display case and stole 8 watches worth $1 million. The owner of the dealership blamed the mayor and Cook County State's attorney for the crime. Well, Mayor Lightfoot says more needs to be done to keep criminals in jail.
Not acceptable. We're aggressively going after these folks. I'm confident that we will find them. Fundamentally, we've got to send a message that if you do this, you're going to be held accountable. And when we do find them and we do charge them, they've got to be held in custody, period.
Mayor Lightfoot is calling on Facebook and other websites to step up and stop the sale of stolen goods. So far, there are no arrests in this case.
Once again, Omar, we don't have to speak on that. I think what we need to do is just keep it rolling. I'll tell you when I need to say something. I want to get all of this done because this will be it for a minute. Now, but while you're getting that piece, and this is on the dealership, right? This man has a right, I guess, like anybody else. And there should be 3 of those pieces where the man is saying what he's feeling as it relates to how things would have turned out had he...
He's responding to a high-end heist at a Lamborghini dealership downtown. On Saturday, 2 people walked into the Gold Coast exotic motor cars just off the Mag Mile. One stayed by the door with a gun, while the other used a hammer to smash a display case and stole 8 watches worth $1 million. The owner of the dealership blamed the mayor and Cook County State's attorney for the crime. Well, Mayor Lightfoot says more needs to be done to keep criminals in jail.
Not acceptable. We're aggressively going after these folks. I'm confident that we will find them. Fundamentally, we've got to send a message that if you do this, you're going to be held accountable. And when we do find them and we do charge them, they've got to be held in custody, period.
Mayor Lightfoot is calling on Facebook and other websites to step up and stop the sale of stolen goods. So far, there are no arrests in this case.
And I think, you know, the businessman stated, and hopefully that wouldn't come up, you know, and some other people stated, I mean, it's sort of like you blaming the victim. You all need to do more. You stroll down on this one, Amari, and I'm going to find those other 2 at the dealership. Hit that red dot. Back there, hit that dot, and we'll get a little audio.
2.5 years of Mayor Lightfoot's text messages are now in the hands of the Chicago Tribune, and they reveal some contentious and more than frank language aimed at aldermen.
Mayor Lightfoot called aldermen names and used language we can't use on the radio. Many times they dared cross her or suggest a solution to a problem. She took suggestions as demands, which she said she didn't take well. The Tribune obtained the text messages despite the mayor trying until the very end to keep them from being made public. Among her texts was one in which she called an unnamed alderman a dumb person of color. It came as some aldermen were trying to strip the mayor of the power to carry out her vaccine mandate. Bernie Tafoya, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
6:30.
Oh, shit. Well, speaks for itself. And I think what happened is maybe Roman Manuel might have had a bad influence on Mayor Lightfoot, because they were talking about how reckless he was with his terminology. But now it seems like that, you know, they catch her in the situations that, really might be embarrassing to a lot of other people, but apparently it's not so for her. Apparently that's how she is. And, you know, I don't judge it because a lot of us talk like that and we don't mean no harm. But that's just how we talk. And a lot of y'all know that's true. But then you all be acting like you don't understand what's going on. It don't mean a person is necessarily, you know, all of that. It's just that that's how we talk. And I think that she talked like that. But that's usually because of the fact that you are, you know, you're around the people. And when you're around the people, you begin to talk like the people. And when that happens and you get in a high position like she is, then these other people, they use it against you. You understand? And that it is what it is. You know, the words she used and this and that and another, she just talking. It ain't that she hating on nobody. It ain't that she just an evil this or that. No. She talking like you talk. Period. The problem is, I think, probably, is that sometimes what the man does is she be very critical on anybody else that would do something like what she doing. She have a field day on your head. So, you know, it is 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. But they be getting that information on her. Man, it ain't looking good. Then you got these rich white folks down on Magnificent Mile. You know, they mad at her. Man, it ain't looking good. All right, Amara, go to the next piece, man.
Something that a lot of people are outraged over. One of the latest smash and grab crimes did happen at a car dealership here in Chicago. We're going to show you the surveillance video first. You see two men who just linger outside Gold Coast Exotic Motors before one of them comes in and starts browsing a case of high-end watches that the store has in a display case. The other man, reportedly concealing a gun, follows him a few seconds later. The first guy takes out a hammer, smashes the case open, casually filling a bag with millions of dollars in luxury goods, even as employees walk in, stumble upon him, and are saying, what in the world is going on? Joe Perillo is here, owner of that dealership. Joe, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
This could have happened anywhere, but it happened right here in Chicago. Were you there on Saturday when this went down?
I was there after it happened, and I have to tell you, until it happens to you, you hear about it, and you don't know the devastation and how you feel, how violated you feel until it happens to you, that people could be so bold that they could walk in on a Saturday at noon
in the middle of the day
on Rush Street
Yeah.
with 30 people around. Okay, my partner had his 2 children there and his wife, and we're 75 feet away from the guy with the gun. I can't believe it's happening in Chicago. But I have to tell you, first, I have to just make a shout out to the police of Chicago. We have the greatest police force. They have to have their hands untied. And this happened the day after the chief of police said, we're going to put more people on a block away.
On the street to monitor this.
We're going to arrest you. I believe he means that. But even if he arrests them, that's not the problem. The problem is they get let out. The thieves know they can get let out.
Right.
So they're not afraid. They'll thumb their nose in your face. They came right in, and we're helpless. Now, the mayor said her solution is she's mad at the retailers for not having more security. We do have security. They're called the Chicago Police Department. Take their hands. I don't blame these Chicago police. They're helpless. They know what to do. They're trained. They have the equipment. I'm going to have one security guard in my dealership. What do? Ask him, sir, will you leave when the guy's got a gun on him? I mean, this is crazy.
So you feel like your hands are tied as a business owner.
Well, what can I do? My people watch them rob us. We got a guy with a gun. We have 6 people in my place that are gun carriers. I'm one of them, okay? I'm here to protect my life and my people's life as we are. When they heard that, when I hit the
glass display,
it was sounding like gunfire, and my guys went over. And then when they saw that, they ran out the door. They were going to rob the whole place, and it's not millions of dollars. I don't know who put millions of dollars in. It was watches. They're expensive watches, okay? They don't belong to me. I rent the window
to another company,
to a jeweler.
A jeweler.
And he sells luxury products. The people who buy those watches by our cars and people buy our Bentleys and Lamborghinis.
It's another vendor who is inside.
And what they do is it's a yin and yang. It's a good relationship. But anyway, we're lame ducks.
Yeah. Because what are you going to do?
You watch all these videos of coming in front of you, robbing purses, robbing people. I never realized how. I don't want anyone. This is not about me. I'm not out anything. Okay, I'm not out anything, and everyone feels sorry for me. I'm not here. I didn't get up 4 o'clock in the morning to do this because of Joe Perillo.
Yeah.
Okay, I love Chicago. I've been born and raised here. Okay, and I was in a tough neighborhood. I was born and raised with thugs. So I will tell you something right now. I idolized the thugs in my neighborhood. That was my role models. My dad died when I was 13 years old. I'm not doing it for me. I'm saying that I can relate to these kids. I would have been a thief today if the laws were what they are. If I knew I could get a gun and go rob someone, and if I get let out, Joe Perillo wouldn't have been a car dealer. I would have been a thief.
And that's the problem that a lot of law enforcement are pointing to too, is that there are not enough deterrents for these criminals. The laws are so slack, the penalties are so slack that there is nothing really stopping them from going and committing another crime.
And I don't blame the thieves. They're players. I blame the game. It's not the players, it's the game. They're empowering the go, and it's getting worse and worse because they go back to the neighborhood. And they go back to the neighbor and say, hey, man, broad daylight, we walked right in and we stole this stuff and they watched us and no one said anything.
Are you worried or concerned about your safety or the safety of your company?
Well, you know, I'm always concerned about that. I'm not worried about myself. I can handle myself. But, yeah, I have to tell you, I'm walking around right now, and this is wrong. This is wrong. This city is Chicago. And I will tell you the outcry. I think that this for the few interviews that I've done, you should see the calls that I'm getting from around the United States.
Other car dealerships.
Not
other
car dealers.
Either
people,
retailers.
Not car dealers. Funny thing is just a couple car dealers that I know. The people are outraged and they said, thank you for the courage, for having the nerve to stand up. This didn't take any courage for me to stand up. This isn't about, I'm worried about the guy down the street who's got a kid who wants to take him for a walk. He's afraid to take him for a walk. I'm worried about the person who lived in the suburbs, who were raising their kids in the suburbs, and now they're empty nesters. They come to enjoy life in Chicago, and they're afraid to come out. They're afraid to go to the restaurant. That's what I'm here for. We're starting a movement here.
Yeah.
Enough is enough movement.
Enough is what your message is. Joe Perillo, thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your passion and your story.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to yell. I'm just upset.
Well,
no need to apologize. Okay. You're good.
There's another one, but this one is close enough because the piece that I wanted to be included, and he might even say it and I didn't hear it, but he said what we know. If my security would have shot him, then I would have lost my license. I would have become the criminal. That's what he said. But he was a very good, articulate spokesperson for those of us that you don't hear. He spoke from the soul. He wasn't speaking as a white man, or Italian, or a Greek, whatever he is. He wasn't speaking on that level. He was speaking what we all know. He was speaking what we all feel. He was speaking what we have spoken here. You understand? People are tired, and enough is enough. But we're going to take a break now. We're going to go into the next section, dealing with some things, and it'll probably start off, Amari, I would imagine, it's going to probably start off with that judge down there in Louisiana, part 2. We're going to break this up because we're going to be doing Christmas break, and we're going to be coming back next week. And we're going to get 2 shows done today. And that one's shorter, and this one will be shorter. But that way, it don't look like we got a big gap. So as soon as Amari find that, we'll move into a different type of vibe. But you already know, it's the same thing as it relates to what we're doing, but we wanted to break it up. All right, brother. Meanwhile,
Outrage is growing tonight after a video captures a judge in Lafayette, Louisiana, using racist and derogatory language. According to The Advocate, she is currently on unpaid leave. BNC's Janice Price has the latest.
This is critical to the people of Lafayette, Louisiana, a city that's more than 30% black. This judge presides over a variety of cases, from traffic tickets to juvenile murder cases. And this new video now has people across the state saying it's time for her to go.
Our city is seeing the same problems year after year.
Michelle Ognay was elected as city court judge of Lafayette last year, but some say she is no longer fit for the job.
And mom's yelling,
It comes after this video, now circulating social media, where we hear offensive, disgusting words.
and now I'm going to go gun.
Ognay told local media the video was filmed inside her home. It shows security surveillance video, and people in the background are heard using the N-word and referring to the black man in the video as a roach. Michael Toussaint, Lafayette NAACP president, is leading the charge to have Ognay removed from the bench.
This is who she is. This is embedded in her. This just didn't happen yesterday. This just wasn't an oops moment. This is who this person is, and we want her removed from the bench because she can't sit. We have African Americans, people of color, sit before her on her bench and give an impartial decision.
Ognay released a statement saying her family was the victim of an armed burglary, but police reports show there was no gun. The judge said she was given a sedative at the time of the video and doesn't remember it.
The apology was worse than what we heard in the video, right? I mean, as a lawyer, a sitting judge, it's almost embarrassing to the profession that that's what she came up, right? It's, that was the best that you can do.
Louisiana State Rep Ted James says the Legislative Black Caucus wants a Judiciary Commission investigation.
The biggest piece that we have is to continue to flood the Louisiana Judiciary Commission with complaints. They have the authority to remove her, and there's precedent in similar cases where they have, number one, immediately, and this is what the caucus has asked for, placed a judge to sit ad hoc, so that justice is not delayed for folks that have a day in that court. They should do that immediately.
What we need to do is, when this kind of situation happens, fundamental fairness requires a look forward, but also a look back. So the cases that Judge Ognay has presided over, each and every one of those cases need to be investigated and need to be reviewed with regard to the disparate impact that may have resulted as a result of her racial bias.
This is not the first time a Louisiana judge has been called to step down from their position for using racial slurs. It happened in 2020. In that case, Governor John Bell Edwards called for the resignation. Some are hoping for that same leadership in this case. In New Orleans, I'm Janice Price for BNC.
Well, the last I saw on that was that she was on a leave of absence or something similar to that. I guess she's going to probably claim some type of mental distress, but she's not a racist. I'm sure she'll say that. She's not none of the things that many people are calling her. I would imagine she'll say that. But like the man said, that's who she is. What you heard is what she speak. And that's what I was saying about Mayor Lightfoot and the rest of us. Everybody speak what they speak in their environment with their people. Now, just because when she got violated, her house got violated, and she started saying and reacting the way she ordinarily do in her environment, don't make her necessarily a bad person. Remember, that's Louisiana. What did you expect? You know what I'm saying? That's how they talk. It's just you people, y'all need to go somewhere. That's how it is. She talk like that because that's how they talk. We talk like we talk, and that's how we talk. But you tell us we can't use the word N-I-G-G-R, we have to say the N-word because we stupid. We let you tell us what we can say. Now you telling her what she can say. But you hypocrites that going around saying that you should be removed or whatever because you used the word, you bastards used it too. You just ain't got caught. It's foolishness. Who cares? The word Niger is a river. That word Niger. But they use that other G to make it how you use it. But y'all distracted on the most minute foolishness. This is foolishness. Yeah, she said it. Somebody broke into her house. Then you say, well, he didn't have a gun, so she shouldn't have said it. She didn't know he didn't have a gun. She didn't care. Hell, she's scared. So she said what she said. Okay. She might be a queen KKK. And? Well, she been sending them to jail. And? That's what they do in Louisiana. Maybe that's what you start doing in Chicago, sending them to jail. But if they break into your house, you're going to have a reaction different than if you're on the bench, usually. You talked about Dan Webb and the people the other day. You talked about the other man that let that boy go in where in the hell that was, Wisconsin, Kenosha. I mean, y'all, they're just looking for little stuff. Now this brother that told you on the platform, look, I done killed my ex-girlfriend, I'm waiting to do my wife, and then I'm gonna do me because I can't go to prison. But you couldn't catch that fast enough to prevent none of that. No, you couldn't. But you can catch this little, she said this, she did that. Man, come on. If she said Niggero, well, that's what it was. He's in there stealing. He's an old man. And she looked like just a regular white woman. She didn't look like no racist to me. But hell, she was in shock. Go on, man. Let me leave that alone. They think I'm trying to take over this white woman. No, I'm just saying. Stop clowning. Yes, sir, brother. We'll take the new one now.
NYC Council passes bill to give non-citizens right to vote in city elections. By Lisa Kim. Topline. The New York City Council passed a bill Thursday giving roughly 800,000 voting-age non-citizens who reside in the city the right to participate in local elections. A dramatic expansion of ballot access that comes against the backdrop of efforts by a slew of GOP-led state legislatures to enact restrictions. Key facts. The bill allows those with green cards and work authorizations and recipients of deferred action for childhood arrivals status to vote in elections to choose the city's mayor and council members, among other municipal positions, provided that they have lived in the city for at least 30 days. The city council voted 33-14 in favor of the bill. The bill pertains to local elections, meaning non-citizens are still not eligible to vote in presidential, state and federal elections. 11 municipalities in Maryland and 2 in Vermont allow non-citizens to participate in local elections, while non-citizens cast ballots in school board elections in San Francisco, according to Bloomberg. Non-citizens in New York City had voted in school board elections until 2002, when a bill passed to give the mayor control over schools. Non-citizens live and work in the city and send their children to schools, said Eudanis Rodriguez, a city councilman who is the main sponsor of the bill, adding that the change will not dilute anyone's vote. Chief critic, Joseph Borelli, a Republican councilman who represents Staten Island, said the bill would weaken citizens' votes, according to the New York Times. Someone who has lived here for 30 days will have a say in how we raise our taxes, our debt and long-term pension liabilities, he said, adding that those are policies non-citizens should not influence. Tangent. The bill grants voting rights to 11% of the roughly 7 million New Yorkers of voting age, which could have a large impact on city politics. In the June Democratic mayoral primary, Mayor-elect Eric Adams narrowly defeated Catherine Garcia, the former sanitation commissioner, by just 7,197 votes or less than 1 percentage point, according to New York City's Board of Elections. Contra. Last year, voters in Alabama, Colorado and Florida overwhelmingly passed rules to specify that only U.S. citizens can vote, according to the Associated Press. Arizona and North Dakota also have in place similar rules. Surprising fact, before the 1920s, immigrants were allowed to vote in state, federal and local elections. According to Bloomberg City Lab, changes began when migrants from Eastern Europe started arriving in large numbers. Many of them spoke different languages, practiced different faiths and shook the political establishment, eventually prompting conservatives and liberals to restrict migrants' voting rights. Key background: Mayor Bill de Blasio has expressed reservations about letting non-citizens vote, though he said he wouldn't veto the bill. "I have mixed feelings," he said last month of the bill. "This is something that, again, I'm not sure is legally what a city can do. I think it's something the state government needs to do." Adams had voiced support for the proposal, according to Bloomberg. Further reading: New York City moves to expand voting rights to non-citizens, Bloomberg. Voting battles of 2022 take shape as GOP crafts new election bills, New York Times. How GOP-backed voting measures could create hurdles for tens of millions of voters, Washington Post. The long, strange history of non-citizen voting, Bloomberg.
You know, it's interesting, Omar, that piece that says Duncan. Now, I'm thinking, and I just went back to it, if you roll down on it, you would have found a audio. But it appears, and I noticed that on a couple of them, Rubio, this woman, used her then. Rubio is putting forth things to try to, you know, be sure that this don't go down like that. But this is the piece we're talking about here. Listen to them in their own words. It's a shame. You worry about somebody saying N-I-G-G-E-R and they taking away your voting rights, and then they're allowing somebody over here to be able to vote and they ain't been in the country for 30 damn days. See how this, you know, you're misdirected. Your priorities are completely ridiculous, Negro. You're dealing with something that don't mean nothing. Somebody saying N-I-G-G-R don't mean nothing. Nobody care about that. But we do care about the fact that you can come here and in 30 days you can vote. And my ancestors and me, I cannot vote without having a special law to vote. And you still suppressing the right of Negroes. Show this piece, man.
With even the far-left mayor, Bill de Blasio, expressing concern. Listen.
I do have reservations, so I understand if folks say, hey, I'm somewhere on the pathway of citizenship, but I also have feelings about the value of citizenship and wanting to encourage people to become citizens fully.
Myra Flores is a South Texas Republican congressional candidate who became a U.S. citizen when she was just 6 years old. She joins me now to discuss, first off, how bad an idea is this if not even de Blasio's on board?
It's a horrible idea. You know, as a legal immigrant myself that became an American citizen, this is, you know, I just believe that being an American citizen is a privilege, is a blessing that only Americans should be able to vote in this country. In Mexico, where I'm from, you have to have a voter ID and you must be a citizen of Mexico to vote. Why would it be any different here? And local elections, to me, are more important because they impact us directly. So absolutely not. This is a horrible idea and it sends the wrong message. And we want to encourage people to become American citizens. And these people will not see the value of it if we're allowing them to vote.
Bigger picture here, Myra, isn't this just a way for Democrats to really pump their voter rolls? And even though you can't vote in the state and national elections, this is putting a ton of Democrats to make sure, like you just mentioned, that the local policies are Democrat in nature from here to eternity.
Absolutely. Like I said, local elections are just as important. Here in South Texas, I got involved in mayor elections and I realized, you know, the difference between, you know, having the wrong mayor and the right person for the job. And I saw how important these local elections are. And absolutely, this decision should only be made by American citizens. And we must preserve the value of being an American citizen. Like I said, it's a true blessing to be an American citizen, and only Americans should be able to vote in this country from the top to the bottom ticket.
Expanding this thought for a moment, you hear so much outrage from the left about voter integrity laws. Obviously, you being in Texas, you are well familiar with these. But where's the outrage over the fact that actual citizens of these cities, many of whom, Myra, are Black and Latino themselves, will have their vote diluted by these kinds of actions?
Exactly. You know, yesterday I asked a few people here in South Texas about this incident. Every single one disagreed. They believe that only American citizens should be able to vote, even at the local level. Not one person here in South Texas, my district is 91% Hispanic. And the people that I spoke with yesterday disagreed. They said only American citizens should be able to vote, even at the local level. So no, this is something that the Hispanic community does not support.
You mentioned the importance of doing it the right way. But Myra, look at where we are in our society right now. Between this, what we're seeing at the southern border, where's the incentive for people to do it the right way? It seems the incentive is the exact opposite way. Do it the wrong way, and quite frankly, there are no consequences.
There is no consequences. See, unlike the Democrat Party, I'm focused on the legal process. The Democrat Party is focused on the illegal process. They don't want to fix this problem. I do. We do. The Republican Party is focused on the legal process. We want to encourage people to come here the legal way, where you don't have to go through this horrible journey where you're putting your life at risk and having to pay the criminal organizations in Tamaulipas and the southern border thousands of dollars.
Myra,
we actually want you to do it the right way, where you don't have to do this.
If there was one thing I learned on my diner trips across our country, specifically when I spoke to people who did it the right way, they are the most upset by what they see happening at our borders, and that was during the Trump administration. Imagine what those people feel now during the mess of a Biden administration the last 10 months. Myra Flores, we wish you the best of luck. Check back in with us. We appreciate you.
Now, let me just tell you something.
Thank you so much.
See, you know, and see, Amari, you know, and Amari, like I told Amari sent me some material. Like I suggested, Amari, he got to start looking for stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because he can find some things that I won't find. You know, because it's important to understand this. Because you Negroes, in your addiction to the Democratic Party, you'll hate that woman there. But what she said is the absolute truth. But she's a Republican candidate. See how stupid you are, Negro? Just because she's a Republican, you think that what she says should be discounted. No, she's telling the truth. Even she know that it makes no sense. Even the mayor of New York know that. So who are these people that's pushing it? It's them damn so-called new breeds that they allowed to slip into politics in Washington, and those 2 or 3 little creatures running around. One of them was a waitress or something, faking that she was poor, one poor. You understand? And now they got their agenda. What sense do it make when Negroes can't even vote after 500 years damn near of slavery? How can you come here and vote in 30 days? And had they been allowed to vote, dude that just got elected mayor of New York wouldn't have got elected because he only won by 7,000 votes. You see? So those illegal people could have made that Hispanic woman the mayor. But it wouldn't have been fair. Negro snapped out of stupid. You know, this Democratic thing got you so you can't think. Now, listen to this brother. Y'all don't like him that much. Reverend Warnock. You know, you're always talking. You don't like Scott. But these people make sense. You just been misled by these dummies that you elect. This man, play this, Omar.
Of course, is Georgia Senator Raphael Warnock. We're going to explain what he is doing, what he is saying up there with some of our exclusive reporting in a second. But you need to know the backstory first, right? Because right now, there's this final step the Senate is taking before a vote to raise the debt ceiling. We expect that vote to start like 40 minutes from now, maybe, top of the next hour. That's been the timing guidance. It's one of just a bunch of developments that we're keeping an eye on today, along with action on the Build Back Better Act, that key part of President Biden's agenda. And by the way, it's not all about talks involving Senator Joe Manchin. Plenty of it is, but there's also another senator saying still more than 20 issues need to be worked out involving the budget process that Dems are using to try to sidestep a rules change. You also have a small group of senators meeting on possible next steps on voting rights. Senator Manchin is part of those talks, too. making it clear that he and the other participants are looking at options for changing the Senate rules on that front. I want to bring in NBC's Leon Caldwell on Capitol Hill. And Leon, let me start with that debt limit action unfolding, in just about 40 minutes, with some voting rights action also happening from Senator Warnock on the Senate floor. He's linking both of these together in a really interesting way. And I know that you spoke with him just within the last couple hours exclusively for NBC. Tell us about it.
Yeah, Hallie, he is linking these, and let me explain. So last week, the Senate had to vote to change the Senate rules in order for the Senate today to lift the debt limit with just a simple majority of votes. That means just Democrats would do it. So Senator Warnock, he's on the Senate floor, and he previewed what he's going to say to me earlier today, saying that the Senate is hypocritical. They have been trying to pass, Democrats anyway, changes to voting rights all year, and they haven't been able to do it because they only have 50 votes and they need the support of 60 because of Senate rules. That means they would need 10 Republicans. And so he said that he struggled all weekend and he actually considered sinking the debt limit because of this hypocrisy. Listen to how he explained it to me earlier today.
We think it's so important that we change the rule in order to get there. In order to save the economy. Well, the warning lights on our democracy are blinking right now. And we seem unwilling to respond with the same urgency to protect the democracy that we have to protect the economy.
So he told me that he relayed that message to his members in a closed-door lunch just moments ago. He also spoke with Senator Schumer and Senator Manchin over the weekend and expressed his concerns. And we know that the Senate's not changing rules on voting rights because Senator Manchin so far is opposed, although Senator Manchin told us yesterday and today that he's continuing to have meetings with his colleagues, Senator Warnock, some of his moderate members either, to try to figure out a path forward. And one quick thing, Hallie, is that I asked a Republican aide about this comparison, about Warnock wanting to change the rules. This person said it's not the same. It's comparing apples to spaceships because it took 60 votes. It was a bipartisan agreement last week to change the rules, and the Democrats are considering changing the rules alone for voting rights, Hallie.
We're following some breaking news now, just in from the Supreme Court in the last couple of minutes.
Now, that's a new senator. This brother here is from Georgia. He won, and he's standing up. The question is, where are all the other Negro, black, or whatever in the hell you want to call yourself, politicians on every level? Whether it's on the local level or the federal level or the state level. You need to be doing what Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s son is asking you to do right now. Show this piece, Brother Omari.
How long will it take?
How long will prejudice blind the visions of men?
However difficult the moment, it will not be long.
However frustrating the hour, it will not be long. How long?
Not long.
Because after decades of struggle and a year of our leaders choosing the Jim Crow filibuster over our voting rights, our time is now. On this day of action, I call on Congress and the White House to eliminate the filibuster and pass voting rights to protect millions of black and brown voters.
The arc of the moral universe is long.
Join me on January 17th to demand that it bends toward justice.
Well, I don't know. They might not even let that run because they said it's an ad. But the bottom line is, these are Negroes, man. This is us. We fighting for the right to vote. They have taken it in many places in this country. They make us have to have IDs. But then you can come here and you ain't even a damn citizen. And in 30 days, you can vote. And ain't nobody, except a few, raising the issue. And then a nappy head gonna call me and tell me about he don't agree with something I say. Boy, I had to make me backhand a sucker upside his head until his head rattled like a bag of marbles. This is what we should be on. But we don't care. And that was my point to Napinet. You don't have to ask me what Negroes are on. All you got to do is look at the fact that here in Chicago, that woman you just saw talking, Flores, running for office in Texas, even she told you that even a Mexican in Mexico, from Mexico, all of them know that this is crazy. But yet, you sit here and you let them disenfranchise Negroes and you blame the Negro and the Negro sit along and go along with you. Go on, man, to the next one. We're going to try to get out of here. We're going to stay on this clock. We ain't going to overrun the time.
Keishant Sewell to head the largest police department in the U.S. Reporter John Diaz from our New York station, WCBS, has more on this historic moment.
It's a homecoming for the history books. From running the 351-member Nassau County Detective Squad to running the NYPD, Keishant Sewell is expected to be the city's next police commissioner. The 49-year-old will be boss to 35,000 uniformed NYPD officers and 18,000 civilians across the city. The day after the election, Eric Adams told CBS 2's Marsha Kramer the #1 quality he would be looking for in a police commissioner.
The next commissioner must be really emotionally intelligent and have the empathy and compassion. Not only should they have worn a gun belt, but if they didn't, they should understand that we need to boost morale.
Last night, Adams said in a statement, Keishant Sewell is a proven crime fighter with the experience and emotional intelligence to deliver both the safety New Yorkers need and the justice they deserve. Sources tell CBS 2 she impressed Adams, who was a former police captain, during the tough interview process. It included a mock press conference about the shooting of an apparently unarmed black man by a white police officer. She projected a calm confidence. She will have a tough job. The latest crime stats show overall index crime increase by 21% in November 2021 compared to the previous year. Robbery increased 24%, felony assault increased 11%, transit crime rose 106%, and hate crimes were up 97%. Sources say Sewell, who will be the 45th commissioner and the first woman, will report directly to Adams, who has made restoring public safety his top priority. He has already pledged to bring back the undercover plainclothes unit that was disbanded by current police commissioner Dermot Shea during the Black Lives Matter protests. He also says he wants to bring back beat cops.
Now let me tell you a little something. And I like it.
Great.
But you tell the truth. Look at Adams. He don't look like no traditional Negro. I heard he might be a Haitian. You see what he doing, don't you? He don't feel like you, Negro. He don't look like you. He don't sound like you. Neither do she. And that other one, the lieutenant governor, she's a Jamaican. You see? Everybody got their time. Because they stand on something. You, Negro, what do? You get in there and you try to put the money in your pocket and you don't give a damn about nobody else. And you be like they are in Chicago. You know what I mean? They done let somebody tell you that somebody that's illegal outnumber you. And you running scared. You running scared because you didn't stand on what you should have stood on. You should have made it clear. But then they got one ward in Chicago, 15 ward. Always been a black ward over there in Inglewood. And they done gave it to a Mexican. How in the hell did you do that? 2 damn black females cutting deals back in the day and give the ward away. Now Negroes will never get it. And now the whole area being taken over by what? People that can't even speak English. But they can get $50,000 to take your grandmama house that you didn't pay the taxes on. Keep going, brother. Let's go. I don't want to repeat myself.